women marry men expecting them to change and they don't, while men marry women expecting them not to change and they do. You have insomnia, but your insomnia doesn't affect me. So when I wake up and you've been up all night, I end up thinking to myself, you gotta learn to meditate, just rest your mind from what's going on in life. Your weight gain, it's just an indication that you need to exercise and hit the gym more. Because of my marital vows and societal norms, I'm expected to eat steak from the same restaurant for the rest of my life. And hearing that the restaurant is out of steak because the fridge is out of commission doesn't stop my desire to have a well-cooked steak. In regards to hot flashes just don't compute to me because you can explain it to me, but it's just one of those things I have to add to the category of other things like childbirth, menstrual cycle, and just all those other things that I just simply have no lived experience to speak on. Yeah, but I did learn that there is no spooning during hot flash.
MenoTheSis, her heartbeat is the power of the world. MenoTheSis.
Today's episode of MenoTheSis is proudly sponsored by Beating Heart Health Staffing. Beating Heart Health Staffing is a purpose-driven healthcare staffing agency dedicated to shaping the next generation of compassionate caregivers while supporting today's workforce. The heart of their mission is a simple truth. Every life they touch has value, and every heartbeat carries hope. Beating Heart Health Staffing specializes in connecting both career professionals and new graduates with meaningful clinical roles. With over 15 years of experience in workforce development, education, and regulatory compliance, they bridge the gap between the classroom and the clinical setting. Their approach focuses on staffing facilities with highly trained professionals who embody not only skill and certification, but empathy, integrity, and a heart for service. Whether you need help filling a hard-to-cover shift, a seasonal surge, or building a stronger long-term team, they are here to deliver. Visit bhhstaffing.com.
Hey, girls. Hey. Welcome back to MenoTheSis. Now, this episode is titled Loving Her Through It, A Husband's Perspective on Menopause. And for this episode, I have a very special guest, which is my husband. Babe, you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, thank you. I'm Will Bailey, a husband, supporter, and now menopause spouse survivor.
Well, menopause spouse survivor, I will say you deserve a medal. And I'm going to tell you thank you for rocking with me through this menopause journey.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll take my flowers wherever I can get them. Menopause can be disruptive and cause chaos in what would otherwise be a rather peaceful home.
Yeah. Okay, Wilfred, yes. That's what we're going to talk about this evening. But seriously, today's episode is a honest, very special episode because we wanted to have that conversation about what menopause looks like from the husband's perspective, not just for women, but for partners who are walking through this with us.
Yes. I'm going to try to be honest where I can without also being hurtful.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I do remember my first few introductions to what I learned later was the manifestation of menopause. You would be particularly irritable and cranky, so much so that I would pack up our son and just head to the beach, to the movies, just to get a break. Because sometimes I get a little rough.
Yeah. I mean, my hormones was raging sometimes. And I remember being an emotional cyclone. I remember telling y'all, please leave me alone. I needed silence. I didn't want anybody asking me any questions. I didn't want anybody talking to me. And I just wanted to be in our house alone. And then you and our son would leave to give me the space that I asked for. And then an hour later, I would call you crying, saying, "Where's my family that I wanted you all to come home?"
There's a saying that says, women marry men expecting them to change and they don't, while men marry women expecting them not to change and they do. So what I can say is that this change it's confusing. It's overwhelming at times. And it honestly can also be a little hurtful. Hurtful in that you're in a space where things are happening and it's completely unexpected and unwarranted. And when you take a look back on what was said and what was done, you start to realize like this is no different from what I've done in the past. So I don't know why this is getting such a reaction.
I mean, it was because the physical symptoms were horrible for me. I mean, the hot flashes, the night sweats, the joint pain, the brain fog, you name it.
Yeah, well, so speaking of like physical changes, I can say what makes this particularly difficult for me is that I'm not really aware of the physical changes that you're going through because I'm not the one who's going through them. Like I have no trouble sleeping through the night, whereas you have insomnia, but your insomnia doesn't affect me. So when I wake up and find out that you've been up all night, I end up thinking to myself, like, you got to learn to meditate, just rest your mind from what's going on in life. From my lens, like your weight gain, it's just an indication that you need to exercise and hit the gym more. And in my specific situation, I decided that the best solution was that I should just gain sympathy weight. Yeah, we could just both wear our tight pants together.
That's not the look I wanted for us.
That's the look we got. So in regards to like hot flashes just don't compute to me because you can explain it to me, but it's just one of those things I have to add to the category of other things like childbirth, menstrual cycle, and just all those other things that I just simply have no lived experience to speak on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the things I did learn in regards to hot flash is that there is no spooning during hot flash.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to be touched. So I'm glad that you got it fairly quickly. I mean, I felt because intimacy was difficult, and I didn't want you to feel like I didn't love you, but my body was not my body anymore. I mean, I didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel feminine. I didn't feel comfortable. So that was frustrating to me.
Yeah, I hear you. And I understand now why you feel that way.
Yep.
And I would never want to take away from the struggle that you're going through. But initially, I didn't understand what was happening. And when you're in the middle of a mood swing and pushing me away, I would interpret that as rejection, not necessarily you struggling. And during the times when it was bad, I'd have to question myself if this is something I expect to live through on a regular basis. I had to learn to regulate my own emotions so that I didn't feed into the tension and just further exacerbate the situation.
Yeah, it was tense around here. I mean, I tried everything holistically first. I tried every tea, every supplement. It would work couple of months and then it didn't work. And then, I mean, I was constantly researching. Amazon was constantly bringing packages. I was reading articles, studies, medical journals because I was terrified of hormone replacement therapy because, my sister Teresa passed away with endometrial cancer.
Yeah.
So every time I read it, even if it was one article connecting hormones and cancer, I was done.
Yeah. Yeah, I recall that was a particularly difficult time for you because you were afraid, knowing what your sister went through.
Yep. But eventually, my symptoms became so severe that I had to start researching deeper and I had to start having a real conversation with my doctor. And then I started bringing you to my doctor's appointments because I needed you to understand that your wife is not like crazy, crazy. Okay. You know, I'm Miami-Dade County crazy.
Yeah.
That don't count. I didn't want you to think your wife was just this raging lunatic. It was like, I'm struggling, I'm hormonally unbalanced. And if you feel that in your body, could you imagine you on the outside looking at this? But could you imagine me going through it in my own body? I mean, it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. When you took me to the doctor's appointment so they could explain what was going on, it was helpful.
I could.
And as helpful as it was, it did leave me in a slight bit of a conundrum because as you were struggling, I had my own struggles as well. I was under pressure to remain calm when you were emotional. I was under pressure to remain even faithful when you didn't want me touching you. So, because of my marital vows and societal norms, I'm expected to eat steak from the same restaurant for the rest of my life. And hearing that the restaurant is out of steak because the fridge is out of commission, it doesn't stop my desire to have a well-cooked steak. And we had to have a conversation about that because steak is just that important to me.
Steak was important to me too, Wilfred. Okay? I need you to understand that as well. It's not that my body did not desire you, but it was just all the anxiety, the brain fog, and all of the symptoms just had me off.
Yeah, and about those symptoms. So once I understood what the cause of those symptoms were, I did my own research so I could better understand it.
Yeah.
So now that I had my villain, I could take steps to defeat it and be the hero. I pulled up videos, read articles. I traveled to all four corners of the internet just to get as much information as I could. And in the end, I couldn't stop the menopause, but I could help to alleviate some of those symptoms you were talking about.
Yeah, I also noticed that my gifts started changing too.
Well, that was necessary in order to save our marriage. That wristband that helps regulate your temperatures,
Yeah.
the cooling devices, you had sleep sounds, bath bombs, massage
Yeah,
appointments.
the massages was good.
Yeah, anything that had over 4 stars reviews was fair game. Some of them were more effective than others. And although some items were expensive, it was worth it for my own sanity.
I appreciate that. And I will tell you that it meant so much to me because sometimes what support looks like is just having your partner to just simply try to understand, try to listen, and just try to show up gently. And you did that for me. You were very gentle.
Well, if there is advice that I would offer to other men, it would be to maintain your frame. If your spouse is acting in a way that's very much unlike her and her personality, then that's an indication that there's something wrong. She may not be aware of it or understand it, but if you find yourself asking, what happened to my wife? Then you need to take steps understanding that this isn't her baseline and move forward with purpose to figure it out.
That's good. That's good advice to give to men. I mean, there's also another layer to the journey that I had to become very transparent with you about, and it was about my mental health. So there came a point where I had to sit down with you and just tell you I needed to talk to somebody. Uh, Not because I was weak or emotional or just overwhelmed. I mean, I was grieving and it was my body's changing. I'm changing. I'm trying to understand what I'm becoming. And then menopause can trigger a lot of emotional shifts in women. So I had to get where I had to talk openly with you about
Yeah.
me just trying to get some therapy to help with all the symptoms I was having and the emotional waves.
Yeah. And emotional shifts aren't something that we as men are equipped to fix. Some things need intervention from experienced, licensed clinicians.
Yes.
We can be there to listen while understanding that there's not much more that we can do physically to actually address it.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right, because I needed an unbiased space where I can speak openly about the grief, about the identity shifts, about this emotional roller coaster I was going through. I mean, my my body changing, me gaining weight, what that looks like, how I felt about it. I think women need to understand there is nothing wrong with seeking help. It does not make you weak. It does not make you trying to come up with an excuse for something or an scapegoat for something. It is beneficial for you to get your mental health in check, because our bodies are changing and you need someone to help you regulate what exactly is going on.
Yeah, and that goes for men as well. Like, we may need tools to help us navigate this space with our wives, and we can learn that through a therapist. In order to support our wives, it would be best for us to do so from an emotionally stable and healthy space as well.
Yes, I think if one of the other partner, at least one partner, is stable emotionally, I think it would help regulate things.
Yeah, someone's got to be stable.
Somebody's got to be stable. I mean, and that was you. Thank you. Because that helped me, babe. It really did. Because menopause impacts the whole woman, mind, body, soul, and spirit. So it's like, okay, my mind, the whole thing was off. My mind was off. My body, everything was off. So by you being emotionally stable, and you were able to bring me down sometimes to the comfortable space that you were at, that was very helpful to me. And that's just support, period.
Yeah. And like, menopause became a household conversation in our home.
Yep.
Even our 13-year-old son would ask if certain situations were tied to menopause. It was a bit of a journey, since there are symptoms and you have to be aware of the symptoms to conclusively say, this is likely because of her menopause, as opposed to, no, this is because I forgot to take out the trash, even though she reminded me.
Yeah. Yeah. We had to stop hiding it. Like, our conversation we had to take it outside of our bedroom, and we had to start talking openly. And I say this all the time, that I wish I would have talked to my mom, that I wish I would have sat down and had real conversations with mommy to find out how she dealt with it, what she experienced, what type of treatment she had. That would have been very helpful for me.
Yeah, but at least the ending to it all is that you basically turn it into advocacy. You did it with your dissertation.
Yep.
You did it with your podcast, your workshop, and your foundation.
Yeah. I mean, I had to find a way. Once I was hormonally balanced, I had to find a way to turn that pain to purpose, because there are so many women suffering in silence. It's like menopause is taboo. We're talking about it now. I mean, it's bold now and it's lots of conversations. But I think by you coming on talking, men should not stay uninformed. You all should actually know what's going on with your wives, with your partners.
Yeah. And it starts with understanding why your woman is crazier than usual.
Yeah. So what's your conclusion? Am I crazy?
I'll say that you're my kind of crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you feel like, since I've been in treatment, like since I've been on hormone replacement therapy, that I have balanced out, and I wouldn't say 100% gone to before pre-menopause, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one, we're still married,
yeah.
and I haven't been going to the beach as often.
And that's a good thing. That's why sometimes it's so frustrating to me when I can't get my medication when, I'm going to call in the pharmacy and they're telling me it's unavailable. That's when I panic because, it's the panic of me being balanced, not just for myself, but for you too, for our son, for my mom. I still have caregiver responsibilities. So I got stuff to do. And I just, I want to thank you, Wilfred, for just being very gentle, educating yourself, and really advocating and pushing for our marriage. I do. I've heard some horror stories from some women. It's a real thing. People get divorced.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yes.
But
I mean, even from you're talking about from the husband side, but women too. We going through all of this. We ready to peace out too.
yeah, yep. So, as men, you can educate yourself.
Yeah.
You can love your wife through that transition. You give her lots of grace. Keep your frame.
Mhm.
And for the love of God, come to an agreement when it comes to steak.
Yeah.
It may save your marriage.
Well, okay. So there is one thing that I want couples to take away from this episode from my standpoint, because menopause is not just happening to women. It impacts the entire family.
It does.
It impacts the relationships, the marriage, the home. It impacts the extended family, because there are times that family wants to come and they want to visit, they want to stay. And when you are hormonally going through it, ladies, you can't handle the capacity for the people that live in your house, let alone having extra people in your space. So I want to say, I just want you to educate yourself, and grace is good. Everybody needs grace, because this is not anything that we brought on ourselves. This is something that is naturally happening, and it's a good thing to talk about it and to get ahead of it if you need to be on a treatment plan. So thank you, Wilfred, for coming.
I love you, baby.
I love you too, baby. Right. Thank you. Happy hormones, ladies. I hope this is educational for you. I hope you start that conversation with your partners. You all can sit down and just find a healthy balance about steak. Happy hormones. Hey, girls. Hey.
MenoTheSis.
If today's episode spoke to you, encouraged you, or helped you feel a little less alone, we invite you to subscribe, follow, and share MenoTheSis with other women who may need this conversation. And don't forget to leave us a review, because every review helps us continue building this movement and reaching more women around the world.
And make sure you stay connected with us on all social media at MenoTheSis and Beating Heart Health for Women. Remember, ladies, your cause is powerful.
We'll see you next time on MenoTheSis.